Welcome, guys, to another episode of Tech It Up with Café Cultura. It's your girl, Jaylah, like always, bringing you the best in tech. And today, it's no different. I have my friends Joe and Darnel. Hi, guys. How are you today?
Good. How's it going?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to have you guys here. And you guys are the founders of Medvoice AI. So let's get started. And I want to know who you guys are. Tell the audience who you are, and where you come from.
Donald, you
Well,
want to shoot things off?
sure. So originally Trinidadian native, and I moonlight in Miami. Love Miami, and I have my resident visa, so I am back and forth between the islands. Joe.
All right, on. My name's Joe. I too am from Trinidad. Believe it or not, Donald and I, we went to the same primary school, went to the
Oh,
same
wow.
secondary school. Yeah. Um, I actually had my education in Indiana and then Florida, and now I'm back in Trinidad doing design things.
That is
Now,
awesome.
thanks.
So tell me, guys. I mean, obviously, now you told me I was going to ask you where you guys met, but you kind of beat me to the punchline. Um, where did you guys kind of reconnect in the sense of like, hey, let's work together, let's be co-founders? Like, how did that happen?
Sure.
Okay, this is yeah,
Yeah,
Donald, you can.
let me tell this part here because this is actually a funny story, right? So it's actually a couple months ago in the most unlikely of places, right? In a French music festival in Trinidad, by Alliance Française. My friend Amari, he's on the board. I think he's a treasurer or something on the board, and he's like, "Let's come through. We'll go to the bar after that kind of thing." But I need to show my face here, make sure everything's running well, and I studied French in university and high school, so I was like, why not? Let me go and see what the culture is in the festival. I had a couple of drinks, and my friend Emmanuel actually saw Joe. I was like, hey, that guy went to Fatima. I was like, I think so. And I think he actually went to my primary school as well, but we weren't really friends, but we kind of just know like mutual people in common. And Emmanuel's like, I don't know, for some reason, and he went to tell him hi. And Emmanuel is very standoffish. But for some reason, I don't know. I don't know what Joe was doing that day. I don't know what mood he had. And he's like, hey, I know your face, yada, yada, yada. And they kind of started talking for a while. I was kind of decided, kind of awkward. And then Emmanuel's like, Darnel, Joe just told me he's into tech and apps. I know you into that stuff. I was like, well, interesting, that is true. And not much people in Trinidad are really proficient in that. Not saying
Yeah.
they aren't in the field, but what Emmanuel
Yeah,
described.
I mean, it's not the same amount of community that there is,
Correct.
like let's say in
Miami,
California or Miami.
LDB, yeah, correct, exactly. And he's like, hey, let's talk. And just casual, I took his number because I was like, yeah, you went to primary school with me? And he's like, yeah, and Fatima. And he's like, for real? And I was like, yeah. And I started calling some names. He's like, yeah, for real. And fast forward, we spoke like 2 hours the next day about a bunch of stuff from, I guess, school to building apps, the UX process, product management from different angles. He's more technical, I'm more partnerships and business. And honestly, we haven't stopped talking since. Joe could get his account. That's how it kind of went to my hang.
So then you guys obviously connected, you had all these ideas. Why med? Like why med voice? Like what was the thought behind it? Because there's so many we see in tech, so many different avenues, right? You have hospitality, you got media, you have medical, you have like all of these different, fields.
Yeah.
How did you guys choose med?
Well, I could start off by saying that I actually went to school for biomedical engineering. I worked as a design engineer. I've been in the medical field. So but I'm jumping the gunner because this is why I said yes when Darnel was like, yo, I have this idea, bro. What do you think about this? And I'm thinking, dude, this is right up my alley. Let's go. It wasn't even a second thought. Darnel is ideas man. He's ideas captain. He, you'll sit down, talk to him for an hour, and he will spit a fire hose of ideas at you. And you just get to pick your favorite. And he's very passionate about Medvoice AI. I guess the timing is right, the technology is right, the puzzle is the pieces are there, and it's just for us to put it together. Everything just aligned for that one. And me being from that background, it was a no-brainer. Like, dude, this is awesome. Let's try this. Let's do this.
Do you think that it's harder? Because I know we talked about like the ecosystem and the community, right? Do you think it's harder to bring something like this into like, into the States or international coming from your background in Trinidad? Or do you think that now we have that facility with the technology that it kind of really doesn't matter anymore?
I can take that one. Well, we have advantage. For one, I'm back and forth between Miami and Trinidad. That's one. Two, I have a decent network through Draper and different venture communities. But also, you touched on a good point, right? The fact that the internet kind of make things a little bit easier for community to connect. Once you're willing to travel, I think a lot of the ideas are doable. But I do agree with you. Despite the internet making things easier, what really made this happen would have been me taking part in programs that were outside of Trinidad, of course, and then me also having a visa where I could stay for lengthier times, and really build with people. As you know, a lot of this is relationships,
Yeah.
outside just having a good product, having the right person, like, I know Jaylah, because even you, Jaylah, like, because I went through this program, Spark, with
Yeah.
Zach, and Zach was like, hey, I know someone you guys should speak to. She's really good at da 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 da. So there's those relationships that keep happening when you keep availing yourself outside of your hometown, so to speak. I think you need a bit of both. The internet helps, but you need to put yourself out there.
Yeah, I think the community and the ecosystem are so important, even if it's a small one, right? Just to have that sense of accountability, that sense of, let's work together, let's bounce ideas off of each other. Hey, can you test this out for me? And I think that that's really important. And, I'm excited to see that. I think something like this brings that type of community back home too. Because it's like you start talking to, your family, your neighbors, everybody back in Trinidad, and then you start that growth of it eventually will happen, right? Everybody eventually had internet. So it's like everybody eventually is going to get in some way, shape, or form. I mean, tech right now it rules the world
Yeah.
because you can't almost everything has to do with tech. You can't really function at this point, right? So tell me about, I guess now you have a medical background. How did that idea just kind of like really come about, saying, you know what, we need a voice AI?
Okay.
This
Okay.
is,
So
I would love to take the credit, but this is all Darnel. I'll let him tell the story.
sure, sure. And lucky for me, I found somebody who, and Joe's very humble, right? So he actually built a mechanical spine, right? This is the kind of
Wow.
level, yeah, this is the kind of level of engineering he's actually at calmly sitting on over here. So I gave him a story when we were reconnecting, about the third call we were on. I was like, okay, I know his proficiencies and he's open. Because sometimes you meet people and they kind of like, yeah, they're open to talking, but they might be open to building. But I kind of figured out, okay, he's a real kind of builder, engineer kind of guy, right? So like, Joe, when I was doing this transformation project for the Ministry of Works, right? We have a demand point system, and my other colleague and I, we helped, reinstate that and the whole campaign and whatnot. And I met a medical doctor who happened to be around at the time, and he's like, you guys, you young guys in the technology, we have transcribers, in the offices, and sometimes they take long to get this stuff done, and sometimes not the right format. I wish you guys could figure out a way to like make this process easier for me. So he walked us through what it is. So when a doctor has a patient, after the patient is gone, they have to do a record, right? And it's usually something called like a SOAP method, which is subjective, objective, assessment, and plan. And subjective will be like, okay, so Jaylah came in today. She said she had short breath, right? And when she stands up, she feels dizzy. And then the objective will be, okay, what's her blood pressure? What's her oxygen rate? The more, I guess, empirical evidence kind of things that's, undeniable. And then the doctor makes the assessment, and then there's a plan or prognosis. And that's how they kind of fill out the visit after you're gone. So after you're gone, they don't care. They have to do this thing right away. Or sometimes some doctors sit with you and do it right in front of you. And that's the lengthy process of the medical.
Yeah, I've seen it where, because, at the doctor's office where they use the recorders,
Yeah,
like the voice recorders, I guess, to record
correct.
all their patients and then do it like end of day.
Correct. So you actually helped me. So you helped me in story, actually. Thanks for that. So he was like, that's a real lengthy process. And what he does sometimes, he'll like WhatsApp voice note the thing I just explained to you, that whole procedure and format, to the transcriber to get it done for him. And there's a lag. And if he does it himself, that means he's seeing less patients or he's tired the next day. And that was in 2021. And to be honest, natural language processing and these different things weren't up to speed yet. But it was always back of my mind. I was like, okay, this is a real problem. Like this is like a cool idea. Like I know I have good ideas, but to me, you need to build companies around real problems, right? That people have.
Yeah.
That's why you have lifetime customers, because it's actually
Yeah, it's finding solutions, right?
correct. So instead of a little boo-boo doll, like that could be a fad. This isn't a fad, right? This is a real thing that all doctors go through. And then what made it worse is we from the Caribbean, we have an accent. Some of us are thicker accents, and the current tools, they don't really translate well to our accents. So you get
Yeah.
70% correct. It's not bad, but it's not good. And in the medical field, where it's life or death and that sort of thing, 70% could mean, Joe gets the wrong type of aspirin based on, a wrong speech
Yeah.
transcription. So I was like, we need to figure this out. And when I ran it by Joe, he told me somebody work he done on like digital identity systems, and he was the head of product, and I think Jaylah, I'm not sure that's a Norwegian company, and he walked me through all these processes of how he scopes out his UX process. And Darnel, I know the idea is good, and it's not just an idea, it's a problem, it's a solution, and he's excited. But then he started walking me through, okay, but this is how the technical part will have to go, even though it seems simple on the surface, blah blah blah
Yeah.
blah. And I guess he could take that from there, and I helped build the team around that. His technical prognosis, I guess. 'Cause, again, to me, engineers, all these people are doctors in their own way, right? Or they
Yeah.
scope it out.
For sure.
I was like, I had the people, I know a guy called Skids who does AI and ML for Anaconda. I know my friend Ryan, he does UX as well and UI design. Mark, he's from NVIDIA, he gives me advice off and on time to time. He's a senior data scientist, and we're all immigrants, right? So we all could empathize with the accent
Yeah.
problem. But I guess Joe could carry on the rest of this year because he would have helped me scope for the actual technical part of the project.
Right on. Yeah, I think that the project itself was, I mean, like I said, as soon as I heard it, I thought, yeah, this is it, guys. This is the one. Uh, I'll give you an example. I've been to the doctor before. You walk into the doctor's office, doctor say, hey, what's going on? I ain't seen you in a while. Yeah, man, you sit down. Then he say, tell me the last time he was here again. I say, doc, I don't know, maybe a couple of months ago. He will get up. He will go to a file cabinet that's probably older than you, pull through a few drawers. You'll see him, his fingers just moving over the manila folders, and then he'll
Yeah.
pull out something. What's your last name again? Right. And come back to you with something thick like a Bible. And that's not efficient. It's prone to error.
Yeah. I
And
was gonna say that's how are you gonna read everybody's life health history in like 2 seconds? Like that doesn't make any sense. Like
yep. So even after he has had the interview with you, what about your past files, your past history, your medical?
mm,
That needs to be in a. I think it shouldn't be manual. I think it should be digitized, and I think it should be done in a way that's really easy to consume. So that's also one of the issues that we're gonna try to, I guess, solve. But when it comes to the accent bit, we're not reinventing AI speech. That's been done before, and that's the exciting thing. We want to take it a step further. We want to be able to say, "Hey, I have an accent, and I still want to be understood." I don't know if you've ever had this problem, Jaylah, but when I told you I was in Colombia, and I was trying to speak into my phone, just for a translation, and for the life of me, something simple, basic, it couldn't understand the English, so it was completely messing up the Spanish.
yeah, I wasn't understanding you with your accent, so Spanish wasn't even translating correctly.
Exactly. And
Wow.
then maybe I'm jumping the gun here, but that is also another vertical that we would love to jump in once we've handled Medvoice AI.
That's
Because
awesome. It's needed though. It's needed. We're like this world. It's not even our country. It's this world is so like it's such a mashup now. You can go anywhere in the world and find a diverse group of people. Like it's
Yeah,
not like before where it was like you go there and it's only your people and it's
correct.
like not anymore. You go to certain places and it's a whole different thing. So what stage right now is Medvoice AI?
Well, currently it's in the MVP stage
Okay.
Yeah.
with a workable product. So I had the pleasure with Joe obviously using his technical ways to kind of put something together for us along with the team. And yeah, right now, if we, I mean, we don't do it right in the call, but if we book another session, we could actually do a demo with you to show you how it works in real time, and it translates. And that's why I did at this Spark conference where Zach was a mentor teaching product habit forming products. And he actually loved the idea and was like, beyond this pitch competition or whatever, take this very seriously. Y'all are kind of on an edge case here. It's a real problem. It's a real product. Thankfully, you guys have builders on the team, so you don't have to outsource and pay for any developers, which is a big kickback with a lot of startups, right? And yeah, so we are at the stage where we're collecting pilots. We have 100 doctors committed. Uh, in the islands, I've been getting onto like district medical officers, ministers of health, and it's becoming a real thing pretty quickly in terms of, soon we'll have customers out of the pilots, and it may be island projects versus just like one-off clinics, which is more than we bargained for right away, but we have the capacity, so it's fine.
That's really, really exciting. Where do you guys see um, where do you guys see yourselves in the company in the next, year or in the next 5 years?
I would say doing exactly what we're doing right now, building, growing, and just making a all-round kick-ass product. Now, in 1 year, that's where we see it. 5 years, I actually see us going right up the Caribbean, starting from Grenada, because they have a medical school out there, probably one of the best in the Caribbean actually, and moving all the way up. There are roughly 6 million English speakers in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
There are 7 million English speakers in LATAM. So South America, you got seven. So that's about 13 million people. That that's significant, and we're going to tackle that first. This is our home ground, and this is part of our moat. We're right here. We possess the actual accents that we're trying to encode, and we're trying to get AI to work and play nicely with. So we're going to focus on our moat and then grow systematically 1 year at a time, one step at a time.
Will it also be like, let's say you're a Spanish speaker, and like, will it also do that as well? Like, not just English?
I want to.
Yeah.
So it will take training, but if we start with English, let me backtrack. I'd say that there are an increasing number of Spanish speakers in Trinidad right now,
Yeah.
and they come from Venezuela and about the south of South America. We can also start training one step at a time. I know I'm very excited about it, so I want everything all at once.
Yeah, I know. It's like being a kid at the candy store, right? You're like, oh, I want to do this.
This one. So we would start with English, with this creolized English, this accent that we have and we're famous for in the Caribbean, and then we'll move on. So very soon thereafter, I would want to start training with accents from Spanish. Yeah, Spanish accents.
That's amazing. How can investors, supporters, doctors, medical offices, any medical directors that are on watching, get in contact with you guys and, continue to network?
Sure. So try medvoice.com. It'll take you to our website. It's a nice, well-built framework website that by Joe. There's early access buttons on there where you could sign up with your form and whatnot. And of course, the good old referral introductions. We're on LinkedIn. Our profiles are open. You can reach out to us, Joe Jawara, myself, Darnel Francois. And, to be honest, even though we want that systematic growth, I could tell you this confidentially, even there's a friend I have in Miami who's really deep into medical, and she has she's from Jamaica, so she's Jamaican American, and she works with a lot of hospitals, and she's like, there's actually a play here that I may be able to, and again, no promises, but she's like, I may be able to actually onboard an entity that actually is in charge of like 800 hospitals, because they have a lot of immigrant doctors in these hospitals from the Caribbean, etc.
Yeah.
I was like, that sounds kind of pretty interesting and crazy at the same time. But that's after I showed her the live demo. She's like, but this works with my accent as well. I was like, yeah, we've been training with not yes, Trinidad is our home country and that's where we have the most training from. But of course, as you know, as Joe said, there's a melting pot. So we have all these other accents that come through
Yeah.
the interview pipeline for the medical training. So again, I don't want to get ahead of myself, which we always tend to do. And Joe's like, Dan, let we had to reel it back in. Or I'll be like, Joe, okay, I think we can carry it away. We have to take to reeling back in, but at the same time, as you know, you can't really turn down too many opportunities depending on the scale, because then we could actually train on the scale based on what if I have 800 Miami Spanish English accents, then that's a lot of doctors to train the algorithm on, so to speak. So it's just balancing the opportunity, timing, and knowing when to follow your gut, I guess.
And that is amazing advice for our founders. So I want to thank you both for being on the show today. I really appreciate your time and really wish you guys nothing but the best, and hopefully have you back on soon with more great news and an update on Medvoice AI.
Thanks,
That'd be
Jaylah.
great.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you guys for being on. That was another episode of Check It Up with Café Cultura. It's your girl, Jaylah. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.